This week we will cover statistical concepts. Of learning statistics frightens many people. You do not have to be intimidated. This class is to help you be familiar with the basic concepts of statistics and give you a working knowledge. Then, what is statistics? It is an objective means of interpreting a collection of observations. Allow us to describe the data characteristics, test relationships between data sets, test the differences among data sets. We also need to know the definitions for other similar terminologies. Inference refers to generalization of results to some larger group. When we discuss description and inference, we are not discussing statistical techniques, although these two words are sometimes confused with statistical techniques. If the sample of participants represents some larger group, then the findings can be inferred or generalized to the larger group. However, the statistic used has nothing to do with inference. The method of selecting the sample, procedures, and context is what does or does not allow inference. Sample refers to a group of participants, or situation selected from a larger population. Population refers to the larger group from which a sample is taken. Statistical techniques are research tools. They are not mysterious or magical in nature. They need to be used correctly carefully. They should be used by individuals who are trained in their use. Unfortunately, in real world, many statistical tools are misused. Please keep in mind that the appropriate statistical tool is determined by the research question and the research design. There are many packages available for PC. Mechanics of doing statistics. We can do statistics by hand, such as calculate mean and frequency, or calculator made it easier, use personal computer. Computers do not make the mistakes that can occur in hand calculation, and they are many times faster. In fact, we can do statistics by using statistical packages. It is the researcher's responsibility to have the software ready. There are many packages available for PC, such as Maple, Amos, HLM. University has access to two major ones: SPSS Statistical Package for Social Sciences and SAS Statistical Analysis System. In addition, others are readily available. For example, R is very popular these days due to its free of charge and open source. Of course, many simple procedures can be done on a spreadsheet like Excel. Please note that this is not a stats class. We will only do simple calculations to help you understand statistical principles. If you want to learn more about the statistics, you should complement a statistics class, but not replace it with this course. At University of Minnesota, instructors at Educational Psychology Department teach statistics courses in which SPSS software package is used. Statistics Department or Educational Psychology Department may also offer consulting services on the appropriate use of statistics for research projects. You might check out this. 2. How do you select a random sample? You may think of the following questions. 1. What is the difference between random sampling and random assignment? Random sampling refers to select the sample of participants randomly from some larger group or population. Random assignment refers to how the groups are formed within the sample. Use random table of numbers, draw out of a hat. This process allows the researcher to assume that the groups are equivalent at the beginning of the experiment. 2. How do you select a random sample? Identify the steps. Please check the procedures on page 106 in the text. 3. What is the difference between stratified and systematic sampling? Stratified sampling refers to the population is divided on some characteristic before random selection of the sample. like gender, race, grade, classification, etc. Systematic sampling refers to select every 10th, or 100th number, given a large population. It can yield a good sample and should be equivalent to random sampling if the sample is fairly large. However, researchers generally prefer random sampling. For how do you randomly assign individuals to treatments? See page 107 in the text. Each person in the sample is given a numeric ID. There are a total of 30 participants. We can name the IDs from 00 to 29. In this case, suppose we want to randomly assign individuals to 3 equal groups. Enter a table of random numbers, the first ID in group 1, the second ID in group 2, and so on and so forth. We do this until each group has 10 participants. When measuring central tendency, we want to find a single score that best represents all of the scores. When you have a group of scores, one number may be used to represent the group. That number is generally the mean, median, or mode. These terms are ways of expressing central tendency. Mean, also called arithmetic average. It is the average score of a group of scores. Most appropriate for measure of central tendency for ratio and interval data. Here are the characteristics of mean. Changing any score will change the mean. Changing the number of scores will change the mean. Adding or subtracting a constant from each score will change the mean by the constant. Multiplying or dividing each score by a constant changes the mean by that constant. Median, also called midpoint. It is the middle score in a group. When do we use the median? We use the median in the below situations: ordinal data, few outliers or highly skewed data. Median is not influenced by extreme scores. Scores with undetermined values never finished the task. Open-ended distributions: no upper or lower limit for a category. Mode is score that occurs most frequently. Disadvantages of mode are unstable. Terminal statistic completely disregards the extreme scores. We use the mode in the below situations: nominal scales, no quantity is measured. Describing the shape of the distribution indicates the location of the peak. Discrete variables: children in a family. Measures of variability. Variability refers to the degree of difference between each individual score and the measure of central tendency. It is amount of dispersion of scores about the midpoint of a distribution. It is also an indication of the average distance from the mean. How to calculate the measures of variability? Standard deviation is the average deviation of scores from the mean. We do not have to learn how to calculate by hand. Rather, we can easily retrieve it from the statistical software these days. Variance is square of the standard deviation. Range of scores is the difference between the upper real limit of the largest maximum x value and the lower real limit of the smallest minimum x. It is quick and easy to calculate, but very unstable.